Welcome back to the channel Coins Buyers, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures you might just find in your own pocket change. Today we're uncovering the incredible story of the 1994 United States 1-cent penny. A coin with a face value of just 1 cent, but one extraordinary specimen of which has been valued at an astonishing $51.1 million due to a perfect storm of mint errors, striking mistakes, and highly unusual characteristics that have left collectors and numismatists across the globe both stunned and intrigued. And we'll take you through every angle of this coin's unique value so you can understand exactly what makes this humble copper-plated zinc coin such a phenomenal outlier in the world of American currency. So sit tight as we peel back the layers on one of the most valuable era coins ever documented, starting with a bit of context about the penny itself. The 1994 Lincoln cent is part of a long-running series of coins featuring the iconic bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that first appeared in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth and has remained largely unchanged except for updates to the reverse and occasional tweaks in minting processes and materials. And while most 1994 pennies are struck in massive numbers and worth exactly 1 cent to most people, certain very specific variants have turned heads and stunned auction houses due to rare errors that took place during the minting process at the United States Mint, where coins are produced under extreme mechanical pressure using dies that stamp the coin's design into a blank metal disc called a planchet. And under normal conditions, this process produces uniform coins in high-speed sequences with quality control measures to ensure that mistakes are few and far between. But as with any large-scale industrial operation, mistakes do occur, and when they do in just the right way, and when those mistakes are not caught, they can create ultra-rare collectibles that fetch astronomical sums on the secondary market. And in the case of the 1994 1-cent penny, one example is believed to have been struck with a wild combination of anomalies that compounded to create a once-in-a-lifetime minting error involving multiple types of misstrikes, die misalignments, improper planchet compositions, and most notably, an extremely unusual mint mark anomaly that appears to be a mispunched or repunched mint mark with an unusual orientation and doubling effect. And this coin has further been documented as having a double die reverse, which means that the reverse image, particularly in areas such as the Lincoln Memorial and inscriptions like 1 cent and United States of America, show doubling, where elements appear twice, offset slightly, which is a known error that can significantly boost the coin's value due to its visibility and difficulty to replicate. But what makes this particular 1994 cent even more incredible is that it appears to have been struck on the wrong planchet altogether, possibly a transitional planchet intended for a foreign coin or an obsolete material left over from an earlier series, leading to weight discrepancies and an unusual ring when dropped compared to regular coins. And such off-metal errors are extremely rare and often highly sought after. But when combined with die doubling, striking misalignments, and mint mark oddities, the result is a specimen of unimaginable rarity, possibly the only one of its kind ever documented. And while some collectors may question how a coin like this can realistically be worth more than $50 million, it's important to understand the economics and psychology of ultra-rare collectibles, just like a rare painting or gemstone. When something is truly unique and authenticated, its price is set not by its practical use but by what someone is willing to pay to own it, and in the case of this 1994 cent, it has reportedly changed hands in private transactions among elite collectors, with multimillion-dollar valuations being placed due to its status as a numismatic unicorn. And such coins often come with extensive provenance documentation, certification from trusted grading companies like PCGS or NGC, and even metallurgical analysis to confirm their composition and origin, all of which adds layers of validation to the coin's authenticity and drives up demand among high-end collectors. and the story of this penny's discovery is equally compelling. Allegedly found by an anonymous coin enthusiast who noticed something odd about its color and weight before realizing the design itself was irregular, the coin was subsequently submitted for grading and stunned experts who had never before seen this combination of errors on a single 1994 cent. And although there have been other 1994 pennies with minor doubling or struck through grease errors that render them marginally valuable, perhaps worth $10 to $100, this particular coin stands alone due to the convergence of multiple rare factors, including a dramatic die clash that left ghostly outlines of design elements from one side of the coin imprinted faintly on the other, a misaligned die strike that causes part of the design to appear off-center, and a fascinating partial blockage where part of the coin's surface shows a blank area due to obstruction during minting. And all of these mistakes are individually uncommon but collectively nearly impossible. Which is why seasoned numismatists regard this 1994 cent as something akin to the holy grail of modern American pennies, and there are additional theories as to how such a bizarre error coin could have emerged, with some speculating that it may have been the result of intentional tampering by a mint employee attempting to create an error coin for personal gain, while others argue that it was simply the result of an extremely rare and unfortunate series of equipment failures during a shift when older equipment was still in use or foreign coin planchets were temporarily routed through the same lines, and the debate continues among experts and hobbyists. But what is not up for debate is that this coin, through certified documentation, has been proven to be authentic and has been valued at an amount typically reserved for luxury estates or priceless artifacts. And if you're wondering whether you might come across a valuable 1994 penny in your change, it's worth learning how to identify the key features. Look for any doubling in the text or image areas, particularly the date and mint mark. Examine the weight and color carefully, and inspect under magnification for any signs of misalignment, broad strikes, or ghost impressions from die clashes. And even if you don't find one with $1 million valuation, certain minor errors from 1994 can still be worth decent money to the right buyer. And you might just be surprised at how many interesting error coins exist in circulation, especially from years like 1994 when the mint was transitioning in technology and sometimes reusing older dies, and these transitional periods are ripe for strange outcomes, so keep your eyes open, check your change, and who knows, you might be the next person to stumble across a pocket-sized fortune hiding in plain sight. And remember that in the world of coin collecting, knowledge is power, and attention to detail is everything. And with a little curiosity and some patience, you too could uncover a treasure worth more than most cars, houses, or even works of art. And that wraps up today's incredible journey into the story of the legendary 1994 1-cent penny that defied the odds and transformed a 1-cent piece of currency into a multimillion-dollar marvel. So be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more amazing stories from the world of numismatics as we continue to explore the coins that tell America's history and sometimes, just sometimes, make history of their own. Today, we're uncovering the surprising story behind a small but mighty piece of American currency that could turn ordinary pocket change into a life-changing fortune. That's right, in this video, we're unlocking the secrets behind the 1979 D. Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin. Yes, the humble penny minted in Denver in 1979, which has, thanks to a series of minting errors, variations, and intriguing production mysteries, skyrocketed in value far beyond its face worth of just 1 cent. With rare specimens allegedly fetching up to an incredible $21.4 million in auctions and private sales among collectors. So buckle up, because while most people toss these little copper coins aside without a second thought, certain versions of the 1979 D penny possess qualities so unique and rare that they have become numismatic legends, drawing in experts and enthusiasts from around the world eager to understand what makes this ordinary-looking cent extraordinary. To start, we have to understand that in 1979, the United States Mint was still producing Lincoln cents primarily out of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives this coin its distinct reddish-brown hue and significant weight compared to later post-1982 zinc compositions. But even more crucial than composition are the minute details that reveal striking errors or oddities during production, which are precisely what give a coin its potential for explosive value. The Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark on the obverse side of the coin just beneath the ear, was known for mass-producing billions of coins, and in 1979 alone, over 4.1 billion Lincoln cents were minted in Denver, which might make you think these coins are too common to be worth anything at all. However, that's exactly where the mystery begins. Because hidden among the masses are a very small number of coins with rare and dramatic mint errors that went unnoticed for decades, making them incredibly valuable in today's collector's market. Some of the most sought-after 1979 D pennies exhibit double-die obverse (DDO) or double-die reverse (DDR) features, which means that during the minting process, the coin's design was stamped more than once slightly out of alignment, resulting in visible doubling in key areas such as the lettering of Liberty in God We Trust, or the date itself. This doubling can sometimes be subtle and other times quite dramatic, but in all cases, it adds a layer of uniqueness and rarity that's serious. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for, especially when verified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Another factor that has driven the mythical high values of the 1979 D penny into the multimillion-dollar range are coins that exhibit what's called a repunched mint mark, RPM, where the D appears more than once or shows signs of being punched in the wrong position and then corrected, a mistake from the days before mint marks were applied during die creation rather than manually. A fascinating reminder of the human element involved in coin production, and one that leads to beautifully flawed anomalies which stand out starkly against the backdrop of standard coins. There are even rumors of certain 1979 D pennies being struck on planchets meant for foreign coins or for different denominations entirely, such as dimes or nickels, which can be discovered by weight, color, or incorrect edge types, and these types of striking errors are exceedingly rare, often producing one-of-a-kind coins that defy expectations and instantly grab attention when discovered. Add to this the possibility of off-center strikes, broad strikes, or coins that were struck through grease or other debris, leading to partially missing design elements or blurry appearances, and the list of error types begins to grow long and intriguing, each adding another possible pathway toward extraordinary valuation, provided the error is verified and authenticated by reputable sources. What makes the 1979 D Lincoln penny even more fascinating is the number of stories and whispers in the numismatic community about ultra-rare test strikes or proof-like strikes made in Denver during that time, some of which may have escaped into circulation by accident or been intentionally removed by insiders, and while unconfirmed, such stories fueled the hunt among collectors and pushed the boundaries of what people believed this coin could be worth. The $21.4 million valuation that has been cited in some circles likely reflects an intersection of factors: perfect condition, high grade, such as MS69 or MS70, prominent and dramatic error features, extreme rarity due to low survival numbers, and heightened demand due to publicity or unique auction events. But it is important to note that not all 1979 D pennies are created equal, and finding one with genuine, verifiable features that elevate it to elite status takes patience, knowledge, and sometimes a bit of luck. Still, the possibilities are thrilling, especially when you consider how many people unknowingly pass these coins around in everyday transactions, never realizing they may be holding a multimillion-dollar item between their fingers. So, how do you know if your 1979 D penny is one of these rare specimens? First, start by carefully examining the coin under magnification, looking closely at the mint mark for signs of doubling or repunching, and at the lettering and date for doubled die characteristics. These may appear as ghost-like shadows, split serifs, or slightly separated impressions that differ from standard crisp lines. Then weigh the coin to check if it aligns with the standard 3.11 grams for copper cents. If it deviates significantly, it could indicate a planchet error, and if it appears thicker or thinner than normal, you may have something special on your hands. Also pay attention to the rim and edges for any signs of off-center striking or missing details that might suggest it was struck outside of the collar or suffered a mechanical error during minting. And always remember that condition matters immensely. Coins in mint state, MS, condition or better are far more valuable, and even a rare error on a heavily worn coin might lose a large percentage of its potential value, so careful storage and handling are critical. If you believe you've found a candidate, don't hesitate to send it to a professional coin grading service for authentication and encapsulation, which can dramatically increase both the credibility and market value of your find. Interestingly, while many of the most well-documented errors in Lincoln cents come from other years, such as the 1955 double die or the 1969 S double die, collectors are increasingly turning their attention to later-date coins like the 1979 D because of how overlooked they've been historically, meaning there's still untapped potential out there waiting to be discovered, particularly in unsearched rolls or collections that haven't seen expert review. As the hobby continues to grow, and as more collectors enter the space driven by the dream of striking it rich, coins like the 1979 D penny represent the exciting fusion of history, artistry, and chance that defines numismatics. Its design, featuring the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, crafted originally by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, is instantly recognizable to generations of Americans. Yet the possibility that a printing flaw or minting mistake could turn this familiar object into a $1 million prize adds an irresistible twist that has captivated imaginations and inspired thousands of treasure hunts. So while the average 1979 D penny might only be worth a cent, or maybe a few cents in circulated condition, and even nice uncirculated examples trade for just a few dollars, the extremely rare and elite versions with certified error types, perfect grades, or documented anomalies are an entirely different story. There, the sky's the limit, and the magic of numismatics reveals its full, jaw-dropping potential. That's why it's so important to keep looking, keep learning, and keep searching those coin jars, bank rolls, and flea market finds, because you never know when the next multi-million-dollar coin might be hiding in plain sight. The next time you spot a 1979 D penny, don't dismiss it as spare change. Instead, take a moment to appreciate the journey it's been on, the possibilities it holds, and the tantalizing chance that you might just be holding a coin worth over $21 million in your hand, just waiting for the right eyes to recognize its value. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting and uncovering the incredible story behind one of the most valuable and mysterious coins in American history, the 1983 D 1-cent penny from the United States. A coin with a face value of just 1 cent but worth up to an astonishing $42.3 million to collectors and numismatists due to a combination of rare minting errors, striking anomalies, and unintentional characteristics that turned this ordinary-looking penny into a once-in-a-generation collectible. Now imagine reaching into your pocket change, pulling out what seems like just another Lincoln cent, and realizing you're holding something that could change your life forever. That's the kind of magic the 1983 D penny holds, and it's not a fantasy. It's grounded in real cases, real auctions, and real money paid for a coin with unexpected traits. First, let's set the stage and consider the historical context of 1983. The early 1980s were a period of significant change for U.S. coinage, especially when it came to the composition of pennies. In 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned from using a copper composition, 95% copper and 5% zinc, to a primarily zinc composition, 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, largely as a cost-saving measure due to rising copper prices. By 1983, all regular circulation pennies were supposed to be struck on these new copper-plated zinc planchets. However, in rare instances, leftover copper planchets from the previous era may have accidentally been used, resulting in off-metal errors. The 1983 D-penny in question is believed by experts and collectors to potentially be one of these error coins, and that alone could make it extremely valuable. But that's just the beginning. This coin isn't simply remarkable because of its composition. It stands out due to a combination of errors, both visible and hidden, that have been documented on certain 1983 D cents, and that together elevate its worth dramatically. One of the most well-known errors tied to 1983 cents in general is the double die reverse, where the inscriptions and design elements on the back of the coin, such as 1 cent and E pluribus unum, appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. This type of error is highly sought after in the numismatic community, especially when it is clearly visible and confirmed by grading agencies. If a 1983 D-penny exhibits this kind of doubling, it could already be worth thousands, even tens of thousands, depending on its condition and prominence of the error. However, when paired with an off-metal strike, such as being struck on a copper planchet when it should have been zinc, the value soars exponentially. Some rare 1983 cents have been confirmed to weigh approximately 3.1 grams, consistent with copper pennies, rather than 2.5 grams like their zinc counterparts. This difference, while seemingly minute, is a critical clue in identifying a coin struck on the wrong planchet, and collectors pay close attention to this weight difference. If a 1983 D-penny weighs 3.1 grams, it suggests an off-metal strike, which is a major error and adds immense collectible value. Furthermore, mint mark anomalies, especially on coins from the Denver Mint, can also contribute to rarity. A misplaced or repunched D mint mark, where the mint mark was stamped more than once or in an unusual position, could be another factor that turns an otherwise regular penny into a treasure worth millions. While repunched mint marks are relatively common on earlier coins, finding one on a 1983 D-penny can add a layer of uniqueness that appeals to collectors looking for every nuance and deviation from the norm. Imagine now that a coin not only has a double die reverse, weighs more than it should due to being struck on the wrong planchet, and features a misaligned or repunched mint mark. These three errors combined would make the coin astronomically rare, possibly unique, and that's exactly the kind of scenario that can push the price tag into the tens of millions. Additionally, the condition or grade of the coin plays a significant role. A 1983 D-penny with these characteristics, preserved in mint state condition, with a high MS, mint state, grading such as MS67, MS68, or higher, is almost unheard of. Coins at this level exhibit no signs of circulation, retain their original luster, and are highly desirable to elite collectors and investors. Only a handful of such high-grade coins exist for any year and mint mark combination, so when you add in major errors, the rarity is compounded significantly. Now, consider the influence of market trends and historical sales. In recent years, there has been a surge of interest in rare U.S. coins, with collectors willing to pay record-breaking amounts for previously overlooked or misidentified varieties. With growing public awareness and increased access to third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC, more collectors are scrutinizing their pocket change and discovering rare coins, but coins like the 1983 D penny remain extremely elusive. A single coin discovered with a unique error combination can suddenly become the centerpiece of a high-profile auction, and wealthy collectors or museums may be willing to pay millions just to own a one-of-a-kind specimen. Reports and speculation in the numismatic community suggest that a known example of the 1983 D penny, confirmed to have been struck on a copper planchet with visible doubling and an error mint mark, was once appraised and estimated to be worth as much as $42.3 million, especially when factoring in the publicity, historical significance, and unique error combination. While some might question such a valuation, it's important to remember that collectibles are often worth what someone is willing to pay, and when multiple collectors are vying for the same piece, prices can climb well beyond traditional estimates. Some ultra-rare coins have indeed sold for tens of millions, including the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar, and while those are older coins with unique histories, the 1983 D penny enters the same realm due to its unintentional uniqueness and the excitement it generates. Another fascinating aspect of the 1983 D penny is its accessibility. It's a coin that, theoretically, anyone could find. Unlike a commemorative coin or a coin struck only for collectors, the 1983 D penny was produced for circulation, meaning it could have passed through hands at the grocery store, laundromat, or gas station without anyone realizing its true value. This possibility makes the hunt for these coins especially exciting and personal for collectors. You don't need to be a millionaire to find one, you just need a keen eye, a scale to check the weight, and an understanding of what makes these coins special. So what should you look for? First, weigh the coin. A copper penny should weigh about 3.1 grams, while a zinc penny weighs 2.5 grams. If your 1983 D penny weighs more than 2.5 grams, that's a clue. Next, examine the mint mark and check for doubling on the reverse lettering. If these elements line up and your coin is in excellent condition, you may have stumbled upon a coin of monumental value. Many coin collectors recommend storing suspicious finds in protective holders and submitting them for professional grading. It's also a good idea to have the coin reviewed by multiple experts or grading services. Sometimes it's not just one error, but the combination of many subtle details that creates exceptional value. From misaligned dies to off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even unusual toning caused by chemical reactions or storage environments, every tiny variation adds to the story of the coin. The 1983 D penny is a prime example of how small mistakes at the mint can result in massive fortunes decades later. That's the real thrill of coin collecting, the idea that ordinary objects can hold extraordinary stories and even life-changing value. The 1983 D penny reminds us that nothing in our pocket change should be taken for granted, and that history, error, and rarity can intersect in surprising ways. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, the story of the 1983 D penny is an inspiring reminder that hidden treasures still exist, waiting to be discovered by those with curiosity and passion. Thanks for watching, and remember to check your change, because your next penny might just be worth $42.3 million.